YNR spoilers reveal that Adam is boldly plotting a secret plot with Billy, creating an anonymous Dumas letter to threaten Victor. What is Adam's purpose, when he deliberately provokes his father like that? Chelsea Lawson, a woman who has experienced pain and betrayal, is also holding a dangerous position, when she unexpectedly becomes the one to push Adam to stand up against his own father. Meanwhile, Victor Newman, a father, a boss, a fearless legend, is playing a calculating game, and he does not expect that the chess pieces that seem to be most loyal are gradually leaving him. The story begins with the long-simmering conflicts between Victor and Billy Abbott. Victor's hatred of Billy is not new in the world of Genoa City. It is a persistent obsession, a scar that will never heal on his heart. Every failure, every time Billy ruined his plans or hurt the people Victor loved, he remembered every detail, and this time Victor was determined not to let anyone stand in his way anymore. Victor realized that he could only systematically destroy Billy when he had the person closest to Billy, that was Adam. With his leadership position at Newman Media, Adam became the perfect tool for Victor to carry out his scheme. Victor used his power to force Adam to publish defamatory articles, attacking Billy's reputation and privacy, gradually pushing Billy into a corner, making him pay dearly for all his past mistakes. However, Victor did not know that he was betting with a son who was no longer as simple as before. Adam had changed, and Chelsea was the catalyst that made everything explode. Chelsea appeared like a ghost from the past. In Adam's torn state, Chelsea is the only one patient and affectionate enough to remind him of a debt of gratitude, that Billy had once helped them through a crisis, had been a lifeline when all doors seemed closed. Adam's conscience is aroused, but he cannot betray his father openly. Chelsea realizes this, and she proposes a daring plan: create a fake scandal that will both protect Billy from Victor's attacks and force Victor to back down, at least temporarily. And so a dangerous drama is set. Adam and Chelsea carefully plan every detail, from spreading fake rumors about Billy to creating evidence convincing enough to make Victor think that any attack on Billy is counterproductive, even threatening to bring down the Newman empire itself. Chelsea not only used her skills as a fashion designer but also used her cunning as someone who had repeatedly confronted Victor to build a maze of information that would leave him lost. Meanwhile, the biggest surprise was happening silently, when Adam, under Chelsea's guidance, began to secretly contact Aristotle Dumas. But in the darkness of phone calls and encrypted emails, no one expected that Adam himself was the one who impersonated Dumas to carry out a plot to overthrow his own father. Adam knew clearly that only a punch from the inside could truly shake Victor. And only Victor's secrets, if exposed by someone he trusted the most, would be enough to destroy everything he had worked so hard to build. Adam carried out his plan in secret. He began to spread fake messages under the name of Dumas, pretending that there was some mysterious force targeting the Newman family, threatening to reveal shocking secrets if Victor did not stop attacking Billy. To perfect the plan, Adam also planted many fake details related to Victor's business projects in Europe and mysterious money transfers, making Victor begin to doubt even those closest to him. Victor, who was cold and experienced, could not imagine that he was being psychologically manipulated by Adam and Chelsea. He began to lose control, constantly making wrong decisions, sometimes doubting Nikki and Victoria, creating a tense atmosphere in the Newman mansion. Victor himself also felt that his empire was shaking, but he still could not believe that Adam, the son he had given so many opportunities, was now the one pulling the strings. At the same time, Chelsea still maintains contact with Billy to ensure that every development of the plan does not harm him. But Billy is not an easy person to control. He begins to suspect the coincidence of events, and his instinct tells him that something is wrong around him. As Billy tries to follow the rumors, he gradually realizes the hand of Chelsea and Adam, people he once considered friends and benefactors. This painful truth makes Billy fall into a state of both gratitude and anger, because despite being protected, he is still turned into a pawn in the Newman family's power game. The scandal that Adam and Chelsea created begins to spread, not only disrupting the media but also causing the stock price of Newman Enterprises to plummet. Victoria Newman, with the courage of a female general, quickly steps in, trying to save the reputation of the corporation. But the more she tries, the more she is drawn into internal doubts, especially when Victor begins to distance himself and question his own daughter's loyalty. In the midst of the crisis, the Newman family is no longer a united bloc. The arguments, the mutual accusations, the secrets that are gradually exposed make each member feel lost and betrayed. Nick Newman, who has always tried to be a bridge to reconciliation, is now forced to choose sides, when inside information is leaked to the press, raising suspicions about who the real spy is in the family. When everything seems to be getting out of control, Adam suddenly decides to stop. He sees not victory, but the risk of losing everything, losing his father, losing his sister's trust, losing Chelsea if everything falls apart. Chelsea realizes that she is also playing with fire, when reports begin to show her traces in offshore bank accounts. At that moment, Victor called an emergency meeting with all the key members of the family. He demanded that each person answer for their loyalty and actions in the past. Adam knew that if he lied, everything would collapse immediately. If he told the truth, he would be the one to end his reputation and career, and destroy his love for Chelsea. But surprisingly, Chelsea stood up to take full responsibility, admitting that she was the one who thought of the scandal to protect Billy, and Adam was just dragged along. She accepted to be the scapegoat, hoping to save Adam and avoid a public civil war for the Newman family. Victor, despite his anger, could not help but admire Chelsea's courage and straightforwardness. He ordered everything to stop immediately, and secretly prepared plans to retaliate against those who had embarrassed him. Billy narrowly escaped, but also understood that this favor was too high a price for those who had protected him. Adam, though saved, still has to live with the torment of almost destroying everything because of a hatred that has no way out. The scandal closes with cracks that have never healed in the Newman family. Victor, now, understands that power cannot be maintained by absolute control and old tricks. Adam and Chelsea, each in their own direction, must face the consequences of their choices. And Billy, though he escaped Victor's sight, will forever be a symbol of those who dare to challenge the Newmans, and this may be the beginning of a new war, when all secrets are still hidden under a thin layer of trust and family. A silent earthquake is brewing in the heart of the most powerful family in the world, the Newmans. Behind the closed doors of the Victor mansion, plots, discontent, secret alliances, and silent bargains are brewing, ready to burst into flames and burn down everything built on ambition and cunning. Victor Newman, the man who has always been at the top of every power game, has brought down many with his ruthlessness, cunning, and unexpected strategies. But even Victor himself did not foresee that one day, the people he trusted most, his son and the woman who had once been his ally, would be the ones to start the disaster. For years, Victor has used Adam as a pawn in his never-ending war with Billy Abbott. Adam used to be Victor's right-hand man, the warrior that Victor could send to attack anyone who stood in his way, especially Billy, the man who had destroyed many of Victor's plans and pride. But things had reached their limit. Chelsea Lawson, the woman who had gone through all the glory and bitterness with Adam, had now become the inspiration and motivation that urged him to stand up against Victor. Chelsea could no longer accept seeing Adam turned into a tool, could no longer bear when Victor repeated inhumane orders, forcing Adam to hurt others, especially Billy, the man who had once reached out to save her and Adam in the darkest moment of their lives. It was in that chaotic situation that Adam and Chelsea decided not to sit idly by and wait for Victor to pull the strings. Together, they designed a bold, dangerous, even crazy plan to create a fake scandal, big enough, infamous enough to distract Victor from Billy. This plan is not only a psychological game to deceive his father, but also a drastic action to protect Billy from Victor's destruction, and at the same time prove that Adam has escaped his father's shadow and taken control of his own destiny. Chelsea is the one who pushes Adam to a decisive crossroads: either listen to Victor, continue his controlled life, or fight with her for justice and kindness. The matter becomes more complicated when a mysterious name appears in the midst of this storm: Aristotle Dumas. Just when everyone is still shocked by the rumors about the scandal that Adam and Chelsea created, the first signs of Dumas' appearance quickly spread throughout the tycoon and press in Genoa City. Aristotle Dumas, a shady, powerful businessman with a completely mysterious origin, suddenly rose to become the most formidable opponent of the Newman family. And, most surprisingly, Billy Abbott, the man who was considered the archenemy of the Newman family, chose to ally with Aristotle Dumas. The news of this relationship shocked and frightened every member of the Newman family. No one knew what Dumas's true purpose was, nor could anyone predict how he would drag Billy into the quagmire of power and hatred. Billy himself, after all the damage and failure, saw in Dumas an opportunity to turn the tables, to avenge the humiliation that Victor had caused him. But was it a smart choice, or just a sweet trap set to lure Billy into the path of destruction? While the rumors about Adam and Chelsea's scandal were still a mystery to the public, within the Newman family, suspicion, controversy, and tension were reaching their peak. Victoria, who had always been the guardian of the corporation's reputation and the family's image, felt the growing cracks in the family's image. Nick, who had always tried to play the role of peacemaker, felt increasingly out of place as the factions within the family became more and more divided. Victor's obsession with controlling Billy, coupled with his fear of losing absolute power, made him suspicious of even those closest to him. At the same time, the wave of speculation about Aristotle Dumas's true identity became increasingly active. No one knew who Dumas was or where he came from. Theories began to spread rapidly in the media as well as among Genoa City's powerful families. Some believed that Dumas was Tucker McCall, the tiger businessman who once dominated surprise takeovers and disappeared without a trace. Others insist it was Cain Ashby, a man who had been missing for years but was known for his spectacular coups. Whoever Dumas was, his presence changed the city's power dynamics forever. Sally Spectra, who was both Adam and Billy's partner and rival, is now caught up in a spiral of doubt and anxiety. She clearly senses the danger Billy is facing if he gets too involved in the alliance with Dumas. Sally tries to warn Billy, but is ignored, because Billy is too absorbed in his revenge ambitions and his desire to prove himself to Victor. Meanwhile, Adam and Chelsea continue their dangerous game. They fabricate a series of fake evidences, create internal document leaks, to make Victor face pressure from the media, shareholders, and major partners. Every step Adam takes is carefully advised by Chelsea, and at the same time, they constantly test Victor's tolerance. What they don't expect is that Victor, a master of conspiracies, begins to smell something unusual. He secretly monitors Adam, sets up information traps and closely follows Chelsea's every move, ready to respond when the opportunity arises. The confrontation between father and son, between two generations of power, is no longer a silent war. It is a game in which only one side is allowed to survive, because the greatest value at this time is no longer money or status, but honor, family love and the ability to control destiny. Adam realizes that if he fails, he will not only lose his father forever but also personally burn all paths back to his family, especially with Chelsea, the woman who sacrificed everything to bet on him. In another corner, Aristotle Dumas, whoever he is still silently pulling the strings that control the game. Billy is increasingly drawn into shady deals, gradually losing himself in the race for power and revenge. Victoria and Nick, though helpless before the growing chaos, still try to hold on to what is left of their family, before everything collapses completely. It is in that storm that secrets, alliances, and conspiracies will be exposed one by one. No one will be innocent, no one will escape the deepest wounds. The Newman family will have to face the biggest question of all: do they survive because of love, or because of the obsession with power of a father who has never let go? When the dust settles, the true winner may not be the last man standing, but the one brave enough to acknowledge the past, accept the hurt and forgive himself. And that may be when a new cycle of hatred, love, betrayal and redemption begins again, because in Genoa City, nothing ever ends. In the shadowy corridors of the Newman's opulent mansion, any movement could be a red flag. For Victor Newman is not just a father figure, a tycoon, but also a master of power, control, and suspicion. He has eyes and ears everywhere, and to Victor nothing is ever truly secret, especially when his own bloodline is being challenged. In the never-ending battle between family and fame, between loyalty and betrayal, Perhaps the most painful thing is when the backstabber is the one you once loved the most. Adam and Chelsea's betrayal, if it comes to light, will be more than a scandal. It will be the collapse of the core principles that have kept the Newman family together, through all the storms. Chelsea, as someone who owed Billy and who Victor had used to control Adam, is determined to pull Adam out of his father's mud. She is the mirror of pain, the embodiment of redemption, and the only one who dares to ask, is it worth being a tool of power, if the price is your own brokenness? Adam, who has lived in Victor's shadow all his life, both yearns for recognition and is constantly torn by the knowledge that he is just a pawn in his father's hands. Born into Newman's blood, but never fully loved, Adam grew up in a constant battle, both in society and in his soul. In Adam, the desire to prove his worth goes hand in hand with the fear of rejection, and it is this that keeps him from breaking away from the dangerous dance with Victor, even though Chelsea begs him to stop. But on the other side, Victor has never been easy to outsmart. The history of Newman Enterprises is full of rebels who were stifled, conspiracies exposed while still incubating. Victor is the old tiger who lies in wait, always watches, always asks questions, and he is especially sensitive to the slightest changes in the attitudes of Adam, Chelsea, or Billy. When strange signs appear, false rumors about Billy, unusual decisions from Adam at Newman Media, then reports of leaked internal documents, Victor begins to quietly investigate. He does not openly confront, but quietly spreads the net, sets traps to gradually bring the culprit to light. He hires detectives, puts people in Adam's phone, email, and even seemingly harmless people in the house. The deeper Victor digs, the more unusual things he discovers: a few fake accounts opened from foreign IP addresses, anonymous calls, secret meetings between Chelsea and Billy in places no one is paying attention. Each piece of the puzzle gradually becomes clear, and Victor, with a sharp intuition, understands that he is facing a rebellion in his own family. The pain of betrayal had never been greater, and Victor began to plan his revenge, cold and unforgiving. Meanwhile, Chelsea tried to keep Adam calm, but she herself was under terrible pressure. She knew that if she made the slightest mistake, everything would collapse. Victor's eyes were always haunting, a silent warning. Meetings with Billy became nervous, mixed with fear, because all three knew that if they made the wrong move, Victor's web of power would tighten mercilessly. In the heavy silence, Adam understands that everything he has done, every betrayal, every deception, has been for this one moment. Will he have the courage to sever the ties that bind him to Victor, or will he continue to be controlled by the power and obsession of a father who has never known true love? Chelsea, knowing the future is uncertain, still chooses to stand by Adam, proving that kindness and forgiveness can be stronger than any force. In the end, no matter what Adam chooses, no matter how Victor punishes him, the storm of that night will close an old era and open a new one for the Newman family. They will never be the same again, but in the heart of the broken, sometimes the unexpected arises, a chance for redemption, a true apology, or even a completely new alliance, far beyond the boundaries of blood, kinship and power. Genoa City will never forget that night, the night when secrets were revealed, loyalties were tested, and everyone had to choose their own path to continue on the never-ending journey of the young and the restless. The focus of all attention, as if by fate, will be on the party in France. TV cameras, reporters, social networks, and even Victor's eyes and ears are ready to record every moment, every smallest mistake. No one knows, at that fateful moment, whether Adam will choose to reveal himself, stand by his father, or dare to cross the final line to face the truth. Chelsea, despite her determination, is also afraid deep down. If she fails, not only will she and Adam be destroyed, but Billy, and even Dumas, who holds many shocking secrets about the European tycoons, will also be dragged into Victor's vortex of revenge. And as predicted by all who know Victor Newman, he will be uncompromising, unforgiving, and not weak in the face of any betrayal. When the truth is revealed, when Adam has to face his father in the light of hundreds of curious eyes, will he be brave enough to admit it all? Or will all the lies tear down the already rotten walls of the Newman family, plunging them into a new chapter of brokenness, hatred, and endless war? One thing is certain. No matter who wins or loses, whether blood or water, whether blood relations or temporary alliances, nothing in Genoa City can ever be the same again. Once the balance is broken, all traditional values are just memories, and each member of the party will be forced to face the true darkness within, before finding the light for themselves, or forever lost in the endless spiral of fame, revenge and power.